Welcome back to the Moon Invaders Develog, many weeks after the last one. If you look at my blog, you'll see I've done a couple of text updates since then, so there's stuff on there you can check out, but yeah, it has been a while for these videos. If you look in the background, you will see that I'm in a totally new location, which is something that's been keeping me real busy. I'm going to zip through this as fast as I can because I shot this a couple days ago. It was 10 minutes long, so let's see if we can make it a lot shorter. All I want to tell you about today, real quick and simple, the completely retooled item system. Oh, I might as well show you this. The Ancient Monolith. It's kind of the centerpiece of the whole game, the MacGuffin over which you're fighting. It's a little thing. You can adjust it. You want to freeze your screen, you can read what those are, even though they're definitely not finished. You can adjust different modifiers basically for how the game is going to go, and obviously you unlock more over time. That's the monolith. It's kind of core to the whole game, but we're talking about the new item system. Okay, so I'm just going to go over in detail how items work. First thing you need to know about items is that there are different types that go in different slots. You got your 4 conduits that go in these spots, overload matrix that goes up here, 2 processors, a core, and a generator. Each of those things is different, has a different purpose. So let's get some basic items. Basic items just have a base stat on them. And as you can see, each one has kind of a different, we'll call it a flavor. Here's an ion item. Its base stat is blaster power. Plasma is laser power. Solar is support power. There's ion again. Hardened is defense. So you can swap these in, and you'll see it gives you defense for all your towers because that's what it says it does. So unlike other games, the base stat actually comes from kind of a modifier of sorts, what flavor it is instead of which slot it goes in, which is a little weird because normally, for example, the overload matrix can only have overload related stats and upgrade related stats, but its base stat can be anything because it depends on what flavor it is. There are 7 different flavors. So it'll have blaster power, but you'll never get that as a bonus stat because it doesn't allow it on that kind of item. So your base stat, you can kind of, stack all the same flavor to get the thing you want. You like blasters, you're going to want ion items all over the place. And you'll have a bunch of blaster power built up. So that's basic items. Then we move up to advanced items. A lot of conduits. Suddenly advanced items, you've got 1 modifier on them. Whatever you want to call that, a stat. It's a bonus stat, and now you're seeing, you probably aren't even noticing, but you'll see that these 3 items in the middle, the processors and the core, can only have tower stats on them. The conduits can have any stat on them because you got 4 conduits. They're kind of your catch-all, catch-up mechanism. The overload matrix, like I said, does overloads and upgrades, and the generator does moon stats. Like over here you'll see you've got a defense and budget. It can raise those. It can improve your repair truck, stuff that's out there in the moon. Here's an antimatter processor, and they got the little Diablo style name, so calibrated gives you laser speed, that kind of thing. Then superior items is where it gets fun. Suddenly what we have here is, I don't have a term for these. I call them fun stats. Every superior item has a fun stat, and I think you can guess which one is the fun one. So it goes at the end of the name, like in Diablo. A generator of morale boost is giving you the morale boost fun stat. You can go in here and you can see that it's moon related. So each fun stat does something different. I haven't actually implemented any of these. They're just pure text. But they're the best part. They're very much inspired by the game Outriders, which is really fun, but I don't really recommend because it's super broken. Anyway, it's a really cool system that they have with these, you got basic stats on your item, but then you have the fun stat, which is kind of the stat you would find on a legendary item in most games. Here they appear on, greens and up. And legendaries, what's special about them is they can have multiple fun stats, because otherwise you can only have one. So what happens is you've got these 3 things that affect your towers, so you're kind of choosing which 3 fun stats do you want. You know, you might do stuff for your, I don't have any available, but you might do stuff that improves your auto cannons because that's the tower you really like, or, you know, you have a certain build that combines, you know, all 3 of them give crit chance in some way, I don't know, whatever it is. So that's fun. And then of course we have the elite items, which have one more stat than the lower ones, but what's interesting about elite items is that they're created by certain characters in the game. You can see there's Wallaby, there's 2 Wallabies, 2 Teonas, and an Almasi. And depending on who creates them, they have different stats. Not guaranteed, but they tend towards stats of that person's specialty. Unfortunately, I don't remember what the specialty of these guys are, but if I had to guess, it looks like Wallaby does missiles, because I'm seeing a lot of missile stats here. And you can see this one's lacking a fun stat. That's because I haven't implemented enough. Oh no, I'm sorry. This doesn't have a fun stat because it's a conduit. That's the part I left out, is conduits have no fun stats, which is the price they pay for having being able to have stats of every type. So you get a lot of conduits, but no fun stats on them, and then you get your fun stats on the other items. And the other thing I neglected to mention is that, this is a plasma generator, so you know laser power is its base stat, but also plasma means it's more likely to have laser stats on it. This one doesn't because it's a generator, which has to have global stats on it, can't have tower stats, so it won't have any others. But this processor, for example, is solar, which means it tends to, but in this case totally doesn't, have any support stats on it. So it's like a 50% chance that you're going to get preferred stats rather than normal stats. And whoever built the item has a set of preferred stats, and the flavor of the item has a set of preferred stats. So you're it helps you pick and choose the theme you're going for. Like you want to buff up your blaster towers, you're going to use Hector's stuff and Ion stuff. Just a fun little mix. And of course there are exotic items, but they aren't implemented in this new system yet. They would have multiple stats, but clearly they're broken right now. And that is the new item system. Totally revamped, pretty cool stuff, and much easier to read this this list of bonuses than it used to be, so that's good. I'm excited about it. It's just more progress. See you next time. That's what happens when you lose.